When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. That's right. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, the M&MLife. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Camry and I am currently a second year medical student. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. You've seen the title of the video. First and foremost, before we start, make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss a video from me. And yeah, let's just hop into it. Quick disclaimer. We hear this question all the time. Can you truly have it all? Can you actually juggle the 1,000,001 balls that you have in your life, whether that be medical school plus a family, medical school plus your personal hobbies, medical school plus just life in general? And that can be with med school or anything else in life. And the short answer to that question is no. I do not think that it's possible for you to give 100% of yourself to all of these things at the same time. And quite frankly, we weren't made to be that way, right? Like, we aren't machines that can be on go 24/7. We are human beings who have to stop, who have to rest, who have to recharge. And so honestly, it's not even expected that you do. So this isn't going to be a video about how to tackle everything on your to-do list and how to be super organized and still maintain your mental health, because I honestly just don't think it's possible. You're going to have to say no sometimes, and not just to those social engagements that we say like, oh, you're a med student, hanging out with your friends and your family is kind of like an afterthought because you're always studying, but sometimes you're going to have to say no to that research project. Sometimes you're going to have to say no to things that will ultimately help you reach your goal. So overall, is it realistic to give 100% of yourself to every responsibility all of the time? No. But there is a way to go about it when you have your priorities straight, where you can maintain your sanity and still cross off the things on your to-do list. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. And you hear me say all the time, remember to finish each day strong, but always remember to finish each day whole. That is my saying, that is my go-to, and it's true. So this video is just going to be all about how I do that and balance med school plus the 1,000,001 things in my life that I have. So first and foremost, I'll just do a quick rundown of my study schedule so you can see where I'm coming from. I will do a separate video all about how I take notes and all that jazz if you want me to. So if that's something you want, let me know in the comments or DM me at the M&MLife and I will definitely get that done. But in the meantime, my study schedule is typically, I do the lectures. You guys know we have the flex modules as well as we're on Zoom right now. So Zoom lectures, I watch those. And then I will actually go back through them on my own. I have a color-coded system, which, like I said, I can explain in another video. And I actually go through and dissect each lecture. And so after I do that, then I'll go do supplemental material, whether that be Boards and Beyond videos, whether that be sketchy videos on the topic, and really just make sure I get it down. And I do that for every lecture I had that day. And the goal is to try to get through 2 passes at least by the next day of that material, with the hopes that by the time I get to Friday, I do the second pass of the Friday lectures Friday night or Saturday, and then I'm just running practice questions. That is the overall gist of what I do. Like I said, we can get more details in another video. And so with that, one of the most important things about balancing studying with life plus classes is prioritize. And I mean prioritize everything. Like, sis, seriously, prioritize everything. So for example, the responsibilities I have that kind of need to be on my priority list. I don't have a man, I don't have children, I don't have a immediate family, so that's not on my list. But I do teach Bible study outside of YouTube. I am also heavily involved in my church. I do YouTube, obviously. I serve as a mentor to a high schooler, an undergrad, as well as current med students. And I don't like to take on the title of mentor if I'm not actually checking in. If I'm not actually doing my job on the back end. So that does take a lot of my energy. I also serve and mentor students in my community. I'm related to medicine, but just because that's something I'm passionate about. In terms of medical school, I am also on the executive board for the Student National Medical Association. I am the MAPS liaison. So once again, doing programming for the maps chapters, making sure that they have everything they need, as well as being present on my e-board. I'm also a part of certain interest groups. So I have a lot of things, a lot of balls to juggle. So an example of how I kind of prioritize things is I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. I really do. But YouTube is not like, my income or something that I heavily depend on. I'm about to go into dedicated to study for STEP. And in this season of my life, your main priority is to be a medical student. Is to make sure that you are getting the grades you need, doing well in your exam so that you can get into a residency program. Point blank, period. In this season of your life, that is your main goal, right? And so for me, in order to maintain my mental health along with all this studying and making sure that I'm doing well in school, I have a hard rule that I don't study on Sundays. So with that study schedule, I told you the goal is to get through all my practice questions for the week that Saturday and have Sunday off to rest and recharge. That is a non-negotiable for me. So that is high up on my priority list, that Camry will not be doing work on Sundays. Camry is going to go to church, feed her soul, and have time for Camry. Like, Camry will not crack open a textbook unless I did not get through everything I needed to get through, or I have an exam coming up and there's just no way around it. I need to study. And so for me, that's a priority. So if that means I have to drop the ball on YouTube and not post a video for 2 weeks so that I can stay on top of my studies, sorry YouTube, you kind of get pushed to the bottom. And that's something that I will probably give 40% of myself to instead of the usual 75, because I know at this moment what's more important and higher on my priority list. And so for you, figuring out what things are important to you. So like I said, non-negotiable is my studying on Sunday. I need my me time. So I work my butt off Monday through Saturday to make sure that for the most part I can have a day off. And so figuring out what your limits are and then respecting your boundaries. Study guilt will kick in if you decide like, oh, I want to take a day off. Oh, I want to go do this. No, if you need to spend time with your family, carve out that time and work your schedule around that. It is possible. Pre-pandemic, I was at brunch with my girls and still doing well in medical school. Like, it is possible. It's just all about how you prioritize your time and what you do with the time that you do have. The second tip I have is, I know everybody says like, oh, make a to-do list so you know everything you need to do, which I usually do. But I've also started incorporating something that I actually saw on Instagram. If you guys follow the Period Doctor, who is also a Spelman alum, so shout out to her. But Dr. Chambers, she's an OBGYN, and she said that she actually one day, instead of making a to-do list, wrote out everything that she accomplished. And so that was helpful for me, because a lot of times we kind of get caught up in this rat race of like, I have 10 lectures to get through, I have 5 sketchy videos to get through, I have to go through this many lectures and outline them and make sure I understand this and know all the pharmacology, and then I also have to do this for church, or I also have to do this for the kids, or this for my husband, or this for my wife, whatever the case may be, and you just get so consumed with trying to check things off that you don't realize how productive you're really being, and you begin to become harder on yourself than you need to be. And so usually Fridays are the days I do it. Instead of making a to-do list, I will actually write out everything that I accomplished that day so that I can look back and really see how productive I was really being. It really helps because most med students are type A. So it really helps to kind of see what I've actually completed versus giving myself a list of things that I have to check off. It just kind of helps my psyche. So if that's something that might work for you, honestly, I suggest you try it out. My next tip is sync your calendar. And this might seem like, girl, what? But y'all know at this point, I have notes on my phone when I do videos, and on my iPad, I live on my phone. And so we have something that is called Vitals, and it basically lists out by each day what lectures we have, what required things we have, what required things we don't have. And you can actually sync that to your Apple Calendar. So I actually have my personal and work/business/school calendar all synced so that they all come to my phone, or all come to my iPad, or all on my laptop. And all in one place. So that is super helpful for me because I don't have to check the school schedule and then cross that with what I have on my iPad or my phone or what I might have saved previously. And what I also appreciate with it is, although I'm a firm believer in writing things down, so I do still use a planner, like I'm old fashioned, but when things happen very quickly or a meeting is canceled or something is moved, that will show up on my phone quicker than it will if I'm not near my planner and I forget to write it down. So it just really helps me if I need a quick to do of where I need to be, when I need to be there, what I need to be wearing, like all that is in one spot. And so that is something that is super helpful for me. Small tip, but it'll save you a lot of heartache if you are able to kind of sync those together. So these next couple things are things to help you stay sane. It's very practical to say, like, prioritize things, schedule, be smart with what you do have with the 5 hours you allotted to studying, be strategic. We can say all these things, but when it comes to mental health and just making sure that you're in a good space, these are kind of my 3 tips. The first one is to make sure you carve out you time. And by you time, I don't mean, and I had to learn this the hard way, I don't mean like, oh, I'm eating dinner and catching up on phone calls. I am an only child. I need to talk to my parents daily, okay? I need to hear their voice. I need to know they're alive, okay? So calling my mom or my dad at some point is on my list. But say you carve out an hour and you mark it as free time. And during that hour, you're calling your mom to check in, your sister. That's all great, and you might feel recharged when you talk to your family. I video chat with my cousin a lot. She's probably watching this right now, and she'd probably be tired of me. But, like, that is where I get my energy from. That's where I feel refreshed and recharged, is talking to my tribe. Where I get my momentum. That's where I feel refreshed. But you still need you time. Not you on the phone, not you pouring out to other people, not you still being available and emotionally giving yourself to someone or something else, but time to just sit and be you. So, like, that's what I do on my Sundays. Yeah, I'll still talk to people, but I'll carve out like 2 hours where it's just me and my journal, me and my Bible, or just me, just to be. And I think that's so important. I think a lot of times we don't think about these small things that we say, like, yeah, this is what energizes me, it's fine. But you still need that time by yourself to mentally recover and get ready for what the next week might have to bring. And then next, give yourself grace. I'm telling you right now, you're going to have a to-do list that might seem real lofty, to begin with, and then when you don't accomplish everything on your list, all of a sudden you're beating yourself up. All of a sudden you're like, I should have done better. I should have known better. No, give yourself grace. There are going to be days where you don't accomplish everything. There are going to be days where you're not feeling it, so you just pick up the slack the next day. Life happens. Like I said earlier, you are not a machine. Give yourself grace to be human. Point blank, period. The world will not implode if you have to move that thing to the next day or move it to the weekend. Be gracious and be kind to yourself. The journey is hard enough. Don't make it harder by beating yourself up along the way. And then lastly, find your tribe. And I don't just mean the people outside of med school. I have Spelman sisters who live in Columbus. We, pre-pandemic, would be out at brunch, always making time for each other. And it was nice because I knew that I had sisters to hold space for me outside of my identity of being a medical student. So I didn't have to worry about, like, thinking about studying or thinking about med-related things or thinking about ministry-related things. It was literally just Black women together, just being. And so they are part of my tribe. My family is part of my tribe. And I'm super close to my family. The youngest of all my cousins on my dad's side. Spoiled, you could say, whatever. and I'm also really close to my friends in general. And so having all these outside perspectives outside of medical school helps to keep me grounded. But then I also have my tribe in med school, which, y'all, med school is a journey. It is hard. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It is hard. It is stressful. I've been sitting in a study room crying because I was just frustrated. But I have my friends in med school who have my back no matter what. And so make sure that when you get to med school, you find those people. You cannot get through medical school by yourself. And I don't just mean outside support, but I mean somebody who can really understand what you're going through and say, like, no, girl, we are going to get this, and we are not leaving here until we understand this mechanism of action. We are not leaving here until we know the pathophysiology of this disease. You need to have those people. So, Chile. I feel like I'd have been all around the world in this video, but I'm going to reel it back in and kind of say, overall, your responsibilities, whether that be medical school, whether that be community organizations you're in, whatever the case may be, prioritize what's important to you, build out time blocks in your schedule, and then be strategic about what you're doing. If it's taking you 5 hours to get through one lecture, you need to reevaluate how efficient you're being with the time that you have blocked off in your schedule. It is possible to get through medical school with your sanity. It is possible to get through medical school and still have somewhat of a social life. It is possible to get through medical school and still be a good wife, a good mother, a good friend, a good sister. It does not have to be this long, isolating process. Granted, will it feel like that sometimes? Probably. But when you can prioritize your schedule and what's important to you and make sure that you build in things that make you happy. I clearly build in time to sit in front of a camera and record YouTube videos and edit them and get them out. It's all about how you build your schedule and then how efficient you are in those time blocks that you build into your schedule to do what you have to do. And then lastly, making sure that you keep yourself grounded and that you keep your mental health and your health at the forefront, whatever that means to you. For me, it's taking Sundays off to really just spend time with myself and with God for a day, to really just hear what He has to say, what He wants me to do, etc., etc. For you, that might be building in extra time to work out, or building in extra time to go out with your kids, or spending a day with your girls eating brunch or at a spa. But whatever it is, build it in. It's possible to do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I always say, remember to finish each day strong, but always remember to finish each day whole. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!